Yo, what is up guys? It's the Terrible Thief here, or Sean, back with another video. Now guys, I talk a lot about mushrooms and I'm not the biggest psychedelic guy or psychedelic guru, so I really don't know that much about psychedelics, but I've taken shrooms about 10 or 11 times, give or take, and I've definitely had bad trips and I've definitely had good trips, and I've had some that started out bad and ended up being good, and some that started out good then turned bad. So guys, this is kind of one of those story times because I've briefly touched on mushrooms with Bowden in our Faded Talk and Chill videos, and I've briefly talked about it, but guys, I'm just gonna tell you guys the story time. I'm gonna give you guys the rundown because I do have quite a few shroom stories, and so yeah, without further ado, let's just get into this shit, guys. So this all takes place on an October day, and the day was Friday, and so basically me and all my friends, we were gonna link up together and take shrooms and trip because we had already done shrooms at this point like a week earlier. So like I felt like I didn't really have that good of a trip, and so I was like, boys, y'all wanna drop shrooms, right? And so it's my friend Javier, and I've used this name for him in my other story times, and it's my other friend Garrett, and he's also been in a few of my other story times as well. And guys, these aren't their actual names, but these are just going to be the names we give them for the sake of today's story time. And so they were like holding me at work hostage, and they wouldn't let me leave until like closing, unfortunately. I did want to leave at 9 o'clock, but they ended up holding me there till 10. So I'm like, Javier, what's good? And this like camping trip, we were like, yo, let's link up and do a shroom camping trip, right? And so it's very impromptu, it's very just last minute. And so it's like fucking like 10 or 10:30. And so I pick up Javier, we fucking go to the grocery store, buy shit, buy snacks, then we go to my house, right? And so I grab a few things from my house. I grab some camping things, I grab a sleeping bag, I grab a few other things, I grab my pistol because we're staying out in nature and there's fucking bears. If you're from Alaska, most people from Alaska understand why we have guns, but if you're from like the lower 48 or anywhere else, like some people just don't fuck with guns. But anyways, I brought my gun because I didn't have bear spray, and I just wanted a way to defend myself, which, keep in mind, this was a stupid idea because we're about to be tripping ballsack on mushrooms. Now guys, this camping trip almost did not happen. So like Javier was like, dude, I don't know if I want to go this late, blah blah blah, he's saying all this shit. And then Garrett, I think, was already at the spot. He already was there like an hour before us. I'm like, dude, Garrett's there, we gotta fucking go, let's fucking go. And so before this, I'd actually acquired some fire mushrooms, guys, and so I didn't really know where to get mushrooms, so I just asked around, and I asked this one kid, and he said that he knows a guy who sells really good shit, and he told me not to take a lot because I would be tripping ballsack, right? And so I was like, all right, bet. And so this kid sends me the plug, and I fucking, like a few days before, I end up meeting this plug, and he takes a long fucking time. He takes a sweet fucking time. And I'm just like, geez. And like, it looks suspicious, just me waiting in this parking lot. But I get in, give him the money, get the shrooms. And shrooms are hella expensive, guys. Like, if you ever get into drugs, they're fucking pricey as hell. But anyways, guys, fast forward to Friday, and me and my friends are going on our quote-unquote camping trip. And whenever me and my friends go camping, it's always a drug-induced camping trip, guys. So we always get faded, we geek out, sometimes we try geek, sometimes we're drunk, tripping, and stoned at the same time. We really go crazy when we go camping, and sometimes we get too fucked up to where we don't even like set up the proper bedding, I guess, so we can like sleep, right? And this was actually one of those nights. So me and my boys, we link up, and it's like about an hour drive away. So by the time we get down there, I think it's like 11 or 12, which is honestly crazy as fuck. So I link up with my boys, we dap each other up, and Javier was already with me, so we just linked with Garrett. And so we're downing these shrooms. We're like, yo, let's take these fucking shrooms. It's gonna be a little bit before they hit. That's what we do. We fucking eat the shrooms, and I eat like the cap of the shrooms, which is like the most potent part, and then I also eat a stem, and I'm just chugging root beer to get this shit down, because I think shrooms are hella nasty in my opinion. I hate the taste, and it sounds crazy, but they just have a very dirty, earthy taste. And if you ever done mushrooms, you know what I'm talking about. But my advice to anybody who's doing shrooms, use a fucking toothpick, because chunks will get stuck in your teeth, and your mouth and your breath will just taste like shrooms, and it's really gross. And like it's almost to me, it's almost a disgusting taste that makes me want to vomit. And I've vomited shrooms like a few times before, guys. So we get these shrooms down. I'm drinking my mug root beer, right? And we're like, yo, let's go on the dock and smoke. My friend Garrett actually had his bong with him, and he also had hella weed, I'm pretty sure. But I also brought down like a half ounce, so what, like $100 worth of weed. And so I have a photo of me somewhere with all these like drugs laid out. Like there's a photo in the group chat of me posing with like drugs laid out, like a big baggie of shrooms, a big baggie of weed, and like my gun just chilling next to all that shit. Like I got the full on illegal loadout of items. But anyways, guys, after we get these shrooms down, we decide to smoke. So I grab my pistol, and it was my shitty Taurus. I unfortunately do not have that gun anymore. I really miss that fucking gun. I have a lot of good memories with that gun. But I put the extendo in because I don't even know if I had bear spray. I just brought a fucking gun. And so I'm walking into the woods with my friends, and I feel normal. And my gun's just in my pocket like a fucking YN, of course. And we go into the woods. We go on the dock. We light up. We start smoking. And the za is hitting just insane. It's hitting me in like an insane amount. And I almost get like paranoid, I guess. And so basically we're still on the dock at this point, and we're just talking and just hanging out, and you know, we're just talking about how school's going and all this shit. And I look in the trees and I see like dead people. Like I straight up see like dead bodies. I see skulls. I am seeing really freaky shit. And then I look at the ground and I look at like the patterns like of the wood. Jeez, I'm kind of a retard, but there's like darker like patterns in the wood, I guess. And I guess those patterns almost looked like praying mantises, because I almost got like a really 3D like visual of like just everything. And so I just start immediately laughing my ass off, because I think there's just like bugs coming to get me, and I just start tweaking, and I put like my hands over my head or like on my face, and I go ah! Like it didn't sound like a girly laugh like what I just did, but it was like a tweaker laugh, and I just could not control my laugh. It was a very evil laugh too, and I'm just like, I'm tweaking way too fucking much to have a gun with me right now, because I thought that the shrooms were gonna kick in way later than they did. So I immediately take my pistol out of my pocket, set it on the dock, and I'm just like, yo, I cannot fucking have this shit with me. Like I genuinely do not want to hurt anybody if I start tweaking too hard, or hurt myself. And guys, this is really fucking stupid, but whenever you do shrooms or any psychedelic that makes you see shit, do not bring a fucking weapon with you. Doesn't matter what kind of weapon it is, but don't bring a fucking weapon with you. And also, be very careful. Don't do it in any tall buildings. Do not trip in it. If you trip in a tall building, you might fucking jump out the window. Or never take shrooms and drive. Obviously, it sounds obvious, but some people have driven on shrooms anyways. But anyways, guys, me and my friends, we get back to my truck, and we're tweaking in the truck a little bit. But I put on some tunes, and I put on Ventura Highway by America, and it is one of my favorite songs of all time. It is a classic, guys. It is just truly an amazing song. If you haven't heard it, I recommend you look that shit up. But being high and listening to that song is amazing, and tripping while listening to that song is amazing. Like, we turned on Ventura Highway, and I just closed my eyes, and I was fucking sent, y'all. But I don't know, I just love how music sounds on shrooms. Music sounds so much more rich when you're on shrooms versus when you're sober, and it also sounds different from like when you're faded too. It's pretty hard to describe how music sounds when you're on shrooms to somebody who has never taken shrooms before, but you almost hear like different sounds that you never heard before in the song when you're on shrooms, which I really fucking like. But anyways, guys, I start to like freak out, and I almost think I'm about to have a bad trip, so I just lay the fuck down. And my friends end up just wandering off elsewhere, and they're tweaking really hard. And I told Garrett, I'm like, yo, dude, I can have my gun. I'm not going to tweak too hard and do anything crazy, dude. You can trust me. And for a second, he wasn't even going to give me my gun. But then he was like, all right, man, here's your gun. So I take the magazine out. I clear that shit. I make sure there's no fucking bullets in the chamber. And I just like fucking drop it. Like, I was just too like zoned. I was just like, you know what, I'm just putting this shit down. So I just fucking like drop it like on the floor mats, and I just lay down, and I see this like really bright light, and I hear it like speaking to me, and for some reason I just knew it was God. Like, real shit, I just knew it was fucking God, just based off like the things he was saying. And basically, guys, you guys are gonna think I'm fucking crazy, but this really was the start of my spiritual awakening, and mushrooms really just led me to my spiritual awakening, guys. Like, I truly have gained so much insight just because I've tripped ballsack on mushrooms multiple times. But y'all are gonna think I'm insane just based off this story time and my other story times, but this was just a really like pivotal experience in my life, and it's shaped the man I am today. It really has. So I really just wanted to come on here and share it with you guys. But basically, this voice was like saying this shit. Like, it was like saying that I need to choose him and not choose the world. And like, this voice basically was like telling me that I needed to just give up my vices and give up things that were bad for me. And I knew it was God, but God basically like told me that I need to start living for him and just choose him over the world, because I really, during like before this trip, I really did choose the world over God. I chose so much things that would make me feel good, you know. I chose so much like pleasurable things, like my vices, like Nick, fucking weed, like all that shit, guys. And I've really gotten more mindful about my consumption of nicotine. Like, for the most part, I really don't vape, but sometimes I'll rip a vape here and there. But for the most part, I've been really good about not vaping, and I'll still do Nick here and there, and I still smoke weed here and there, but I'm really just trying to cut down on those things, because at the end of the day, guys, those things are my vices. Same with alcohol. Like, I haven't been drunk in a minute, because I know how I am when I'm drunk, and I'm just a terrible person to be around when I'm drunk. And it really, like, I feel like being drunk really amplifies my worst qualities as a human, and it just makes me just a terrible person. And I'm just a danger to myself and others when I'm drunk as fuck, guys. So that's why I've always been more of a weed guy, because I'm still myself, but just a more like chilled out version of myself, you could say. But this was like a really like beautiful moment in my life, and it felt like everything in my life that happened almost like built up to this very moment, guys. And whenever I trip, and in this trip specifically, I truly just like, I don't know, I truly like found the will to live, I guess, because when I was tripping this hard, I like also saw myself be reborn as a child and then like live my life from when I was an infant all the way to current. So I basically just like repeated my entire life, like a summary of it in my own head, which was really fucking wild. And so I think that's what happened after I met God, is that I lived like a summary, and then some other things happened in the trip too. But it was really cool because I felt like I was in touch with my younger self and in touch with my my childhood, you know, like I truly was like linked up to my childhood. And this entire trip really reminded me of the kid I used to be and who I just used to be as a person. But guys, there's also just been like times in my life where I've been like super just depressed and super sad. And there has been times where I've genuinely have not wanted to be on this earth, guys. And so I'm not saying this to get attention or to get people to feel bad for me, but that's the fucking truth. That's what's happened. And throughout this trip, I almost like found the will to live again, but not only to live, I've truly found the will to live my life the best I possibly could. And it was just a really good moment because throughout this trip, I didn't know if I was dead or alive, and I really didn't know if I was going to be stuck in the trip forever, because sometimes when you're tripping, you think that. And so like I just couldn't really tell which way was up or down, or if I was dead or alive, because I kind of thought I died for a second, like just reliving my childhood and talking to God. Like my conscious mind was not knowing what the fuck has happened to me. But guys, also when I'm on shrooms, like usually when I'm sober, I always think, damn, I'm like really fucking old, right? But when I'm like on shrooms, I'll like feel really old. Like I'll get in touch with like my older self, and I'll look in the mirror and I'll just look like an old man. Like my face will just morph into the face of an old man, and it's kind of freaky. But at the same time, it's kind of cool because like the truth is I'm 18 turning 19 in 4 months, and like the truth is I'm young as fuck. But like whenever I'm on the shrooms, I just feel old and I look old, and it's fucking wild. Like real shit. It's fucking like wild what happens when I'm on shrooms, because I feel like an old man, and then I sober up and I'm like, shit, I'm not old, I'm fucking young. But whenever I like trip on shrooms, it really just helps me not take my age for granted, if that makes sense. But anyways, my friend Garrett ended up tweaking really hard, and so Garrett and Javier were basically out walking around while I met God, and Garrett just like saw some people, and then he just walked the complete opposite way into a swamp. And so Javier gets back to the whip and we're chilling, and I've came down from the trip decently, and so we're just like getting ready to go to bed, right? Like we have our fucking sleeping bags, we're chilling, and I end up hearing Garrett, and I end up hearing his voice, and he's just saying, hell yeah, fuck yeah, dude, hell yeah, fuck yeah. And he's just repeating that line over and over and over again for basically the entire night. And then in the morning time, we wake up, Garrett's fucking gone. So me and Javier, we're driving around for a little bit, and I had this old ass laptop, so I was like, fuck, I want to shoot a laptop. So I pull over to some random campground, and this is hella illegal, guys, don't ever do this, but I put my laptop against a tree, and I grab 4 magazines for my handgun, and I just end up mag dumping the computer. I end up firing like 4 magazines worth of bullets, so that's probably like 50-60 rounds into this computer. I'll put a photo up to show you guys what this computer fucking looked like when I was finished with it. But guys, that was really the story. And I ended up talking to Garrett later, and he said he basically thought he was Jesus, and he told me that he thought he was French, and he told me he took way too much fucking shrooms, and he had to like go into work the next day, and he just like did not feel fucking good because he took so many fucking shrooms. But anyways, me and Javier, we get back into town, and that's what's up. That's what the fuck happened. And yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up the story for the most part. But like, I just feel like shrooms have just helped like the way I think, and they've really helped the way I look at things, and they've really made me a more spiritual person, and they've really just made me more aware about the world. And I feel like mushrooms have also just made me more aware about my priorities and what my priorities should be instead of what they are. And I feel like I used to just prioritize the wrong things, and shrooms just really helped me know like what to focus on, I guess. And I'm really thankful for that, because I feel like as a human, there's just truths about yourself that you don't want to acknowledge, and things you don't want to realize about yourself, and shrooms will just fucking show those to you. They'll really speak to you. So like, I feel like dropping shrooms was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, guys. And I hope you guys really like this story time, and it's been a really crazy experience for me. And I'm glad I could share this story time with you guys, and I really hoped you guys enjoyed this story time. And please don't repeat anything I do or say for fun, guys. I just tell story times about my experiences, and I make them into videos so people can learn, guys. So please don't repeat anything I do. Disclaimer, of course. But I hope you all have a great day. Terrible Thief out. Peace out, guys.